Special board meeting is now called to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams.
Present.
Trustee Brooks.
Present.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Present.
Trustee Franklin. Trustee Bolden.
Present.
Trustee McMullen.
Present.
And Mayor Rudy.
Here. Is there a list of public comment? Anybody have a list of public comments? There is one. Yeah, thank you.
You know what, Debbie, it's just me, do you want me to just come up?
Hey, guys.
Yeah, it's just one person.
It's just the birthday ladies. Okay.
Say what?
Just the birthday ladies.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Gina Williams.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, here's one of my concerns. You know, each time we have a board meeting, we, the public, the taxpayers, come before you all. We stand, we give comments, we ask questions, but for the most part, we get no answers. And I just find it offensive to be standing here week after week. Every now and then, somebody will jump in and say something, but I noticed that most people that come up here, we're standing and we're waiting for results. And if you can't answer it then, make it your duty to answer it the following week. You wanted our votes, you knocked on our door, you gave us tons of literature, and then you sit here looking at your nails, making sure your makeup is right, doing everything but what we need to hear. I don't appreciate it. So I want, when I come to this podium and I have a concern, I either want the village manager or somebody from this board to address that concern, because I'm not talking for my health. I'm talking to find out what the problem is and to get an answer, and I want to have it on record. That's important to me. Now, there's a town meeting coming up Saturday, so I hope that we are able to get our questions and comments put through, because in years past, we have had trustees that have put a motion on the floor to cut off the mic. Let's shut it down. There's too many people in line. Okay, I can name names, but I won't go there. And it was a whole group of them agreed to that, and that was lousy. So at a town meeting, that's the purpose of the people coming out. They have concerns. A lot of these people don't come to regular board meetings. I want to hear what they got to say, because maybe they're saying something I didn't say. So I want answers to questions. I want them to be able to have the full time. I know some people are long-winded, and you may have to say, okay, we got to get to the next person. But otherwise, I want those concerns addressed. Now, I still have a problem, my sweet D.
What did I do this
Oh,
time?
well, June 28th is still on the calendar. You did give me,
Everything I had.
you gave me, but it was like a denial. So that's not a FOIA, but it was letting me know in no uncertain terms, I didn't get what I was looking for. So if you check with whoever, Lisa, whoever's working the front window, I put in 2 more since then. Been over 2 weeks.
They're ready for you. I thought you had picked them up. I do apologize.
Okay, because I've heard nothing, so I just need to get my paperwork and get my stuff in order, because I'm a whistleblower, in case y'all didn't know. When I see something, I'm gonna say something. Y'all know that.
Okay.
So, get my paperwork to me so I can be informed. When I come up here, I can say, you, and you didn't do what you were supposed to. Okay?
If I could, again, I apologize. I thought you had picked up your latest request for your latest record, and the one that I denied, we still don't have any information on what you requested or any knowledge. So that denial will still be in effect, unfortunately.
Well, maybe me and you can sit down, because
Okay. Yeah, we can
If
send,
there's a purchase order, a credit card, I need a receipt.
see, there's nothing,
wanna
for-
get
I
my
know the
receipts.
one you're referring
But
to.
if a person
Right.
makes a purchase, there's gotta be a paper trail. Are y'all having a private meeting back there? Thank you, Lord Jesus.
No, we were just discussing the item that you were speaking.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
I'm just making sure we.
Oh, yeah.
Ms. Williams,
Yeah.
I will give you a call
Okay.
tomorrow
I
morning
appreciate
and
it.
arrange to meet you. at
Okay.
8:00.
let me answer your question. It's up to two trustees, or the mayor can answer the questions up here after. You know, if you ask the question, there's two of us can answer it.
Right.
And then it'll be tabled to next meeting. But
Okay.
I appreciate your concern, and we should be held accountable for your request that you have. So is it something that you asked for, is something that you wanted from this board? The board should be obligated to answer that to you, and I appreciate that, okay?
Okay, I appreciate it. What time is the town meeting?
10 a.m. to 12
I will be
in
there
University Park at the middle school.
at the middle school. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that concludes our public comment section. Action items. No. This- they won't. Okay. So I think make a motion to table these 1 and 2. Today, after this special meeting. After this special meeting.
I think part of the meeting, but after you do the first 3 items, is what the mayor is saying, the first 4 items.
First,
D1, D2 through D5.
right. Then we're going to the executive session.
Okay, Mayor, I make a motion to table item D1 for executive session after this meeting, this special meeting today.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Second.
Motion by trustee Brooks, second by trustee Shirley Bolden. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Vote aye.
And Mayor Rodriguez.
Vote aye. Item D2, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of University Park and Tri Electronics, Inc., RFP number 2. You want to do them both together? D2 and D3?
Yeah, 3.
D3 and D3, and D4,
No, just D2 and D3.
just D2 and D3?
For trial.
Okay, so this, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second by trustee, motion by trustee Brooks, second by trustee McMullen.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
I know Manager Pate is not here, but I just wanted to see if, did he tell Madam Village Manager that, are we going to use these funds out of because this is for Town Center, the new place, right? Are we going to use this from the Clorox deal, or are we going to use this out of general funds?
We've already discussed, we're going to use it out of the floor.
Okay, thank you, Madam.
Anybody else? That was your question. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Vote aye.
And Mayor Rodriguez.
Vote aye.
Mr. Mayor, that is Resolution R 2019-26.
Item D3, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of University Park and Tri Electronics, Inc., RFP 3. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Brooks, second by trustee McMullen. Questions?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
This may be just an example here. On the contractor's liability insurance, the certificate, it says the certificate holder should read
Is Creek. That's
Is this an example of what they've done? Why is that?
because they sent the plans. It was a typo. I did bring it to the
Okay, because
attention.
all of them says that.
I know, I did bring it to the attention of the attorney.
Okay.
And they were supposed to be getting a paper.
I don't mean to be rude, but we cannot hear nothing you're saying.
My question was, under the certificate of insurance, it says certificate holder should be pre-public library, but it's in error, and she said it's being corrected.
So the certificate is actually right there. It's an exhibit, but so you could reattach it to your approving the agreement, and we'll make sure that you get the right certificates from them. Sometimes what happens with some of the insurance companies, they kind of cut and paste, and
That's what I
that's
said, because I've worked with them before, so
Yeah.
that's what I said. This must have been a blanket one where.
right.
Okay.
All right. Roll call, Madam Clerk, that it? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides?
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin. Oh, he's absent. Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Vote aye.
And Mayor Rudis.
Vote aye.
Mr. Mayor, that's resolution 2019-27.
Item D4, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of University Park and Quality Alarm Systems. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Jenkins,
Second.
second by Trustee Brooks. Questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides?
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Vote aye.
Mayor Rudis.
Vote aye.
Trustee Franklin. We're on item D4.
Vote aye.
Mr. Mayor, that's resolution 2019-28.
Item D5, resolution awarding a contract to the lowest responsible bidder for the material rock salt contract. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Brooks, second by Trustee Williams. Questions?
Of the bidders, the same ones are not in here, right? That we've been using? Just double checking, or is it two new ones?
There were two that actually submitted their request, and one pulled out, they opted out, and it allowed one, so that's the one.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Roll call.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides?
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Vote aye.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Vote aye.
And Mayor Rudis.
Vote aye.
Mr. Mayor, that's resolution 2019-29.
Mayor, make a motion to go into the executive session in reference to item D1.
Is there a motion? A second? Motion by Trustee Brooks, second by Trustee Sonia Jenkins to go into executive session. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides?
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Vote aye.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Vote aye.
And Mayor Rudis.
Vote aye. 6:59, this should be about a 10 to 15 minute executive session. I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, this meeting is called back to order. Roll call.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides?
Trustee Brooks.
Present.
Trustee Jenkins Bell. Trustee Franklin. Trustee Bolden. Trustee McMullen. Mayor Rudis.
Present. Thank you guys for your patience. And again, my apologies on the executive session. We had to do it. Item D1, first, second, and third reading, ordinance of the Village of University Park, Will, and Cook Counties, Illinois, making the appointment of village manager and approving and authorizing the execution of an employment agreement. Is there a motion?
As amended, Mayor?
As amended.
As amended in closed session.
Yeah. Just the ordinance.
Correct. I make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by trustee Williams, second by trustee Brooks. Roll call.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
And Mayor Rubin.
Votes aye.
Mr. Mayor, that's ordinance 2019-25.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion to adjourn the special meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Brooks, second by trustee Williams. Roll call.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
And Mayor Rubin.
Votes aye. Thank you very much. That concludes our special board meeting. We're going to take 1 minute. We're going to continue moving on. This meeting is now called to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
Trustee Brooks.
Present.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Present.
Trustee Franklin.
Present.
Trustee Bolden.
Present.
Trustee McMullen.
Present.
And Mayor Rubin.
Here. Pledge of allegiance.
Hey, what are you looking at?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. I'd like to tell, all the residents, I'm sorry that you all had to stand outside. While you were out there, I understand it's cold, it's getting cold, it's gonna be snow really soon. I did make a suggestion to the board that we should be the one that step outside. If we have to go through this again, we will be the one that go outside and you all will be here until we get back. I just wanted everybody to know.
Thank you.
Items, business discussion items. Item 5A1. Discussion and ordinance amending Part 8, Title 2, Chapter 804 of the Village of University Park Code of Ordinances.
Wait a minute, your comments. What happened to the comments?
No, what's that?
No, the sheet is here, we're not supposed to get this right there. They signed, names are signed
They had
on it.
already signed in when they
Okay,
walked
I didn't know, I know about it, so.
I'm sorry.
Phyllis Saunders.
Good evening, Board. This is Phyllis Saunders. I was here asking for a crime-free village ordinance, a crime-free housing village ordinance again. I'm hoping that this will be put on the agenda. There are formats in other communities that address this issue. As we know, Chicago is gentrifying, And we need to have people who are moving here with pathways to home ownership, not just this transient in and out, which sometimes will cause different crimes to happen. We do need to fill up our empty homes. I'd rather have a home filled than empty, but we do need to keep a check on crime. Okay, so I'm hoping that this will be addressed at some point soon. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr.
May I respond to that?
Yes, please.
Ms. Phillips, yes, we indeed I have addressed this issue last week. I was in, and in fact, I spoke with Acting Chief Wilson. I also spoke with code enforcement. We have 2 officers are on the street right now. The latest update that we have, that we were trying to get 5 vehicles that we were actually trying to lease, and then I briefly spoke with the Police and Fire Commission on 2 more laterals being hired. Part of the problem, and I will have that same sentiment with you when it comes to the renters, and this is when the question came into code enforcement, is that there are ordinances that similar to the crime-free housing ordinance that you're asking for. But please understand that this crime-free housing, Trustee Brown from the last board had brought it up. But what people don't understand is that that crime-free housing ordinance is a budget of its own, and we can't afford it. So the best we can do right now is utilize the ordinances that we do have in place. And indeed, Acting Chief Wilson, once we have officers moving around and so forth, and it is a nuisance on the books that officers will will be using. So actually, that is part of what you're asking for now. There is also something else that I am working on that would be similar to it. I had spoke with the residents because yes, I have a problem when it comes to renters, and there is a problem when the police has to be constantly called to that house. So as of now, when we try to relate to the crime that's happening in the south suburb, I can tell you now, University Park does not have that problem statistically, or you do see where officers are being overworked and the manpower needs to come up. But other than that, on the books, the crime-free housing does cost close to quite a substantial amount of money, as if you're running another department. So the books that we have right now, we're going to utilize it, and the officers that are coming, we're going to utilize them efficiently to the renters as well as to the residents and the duties that we'll be asking along the lines of community policing.
Thank you. I'm hoping that we can find some creative financing.
Well, I can answer that for you too. Our TIF will be expiring in 2 years. That would bring in at least $2 million for us. So just, it's something that we need to understand, that patience. We didn't enter this overnight. It was quite a while. Our audits are almost up to par, if I'm not mistaken. Mayor was the last one, almost 2019 will be close to this year. So, October, okay. So this didn't happen overnight. It took a moment for us to come up to get to where we are now. But one thing I can assure you, if they're hiring police officers and we're able to afford to lease out vehicles now, that says a whole lot compared to when I first got in. Ford Motor Company didn't even want to look at us.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Deborah Taylor.
Good evening, everyone. My question is basically related to the upcoming town hall meeting, and I'm not sure whether I'll be able to make it there, so I'm trying to get some sort of preview as to what's going to be discussed, if that's possible, just a quick little blurb of what's going to be discussed at the meeting. Also, trying to find out whether or not a real budget will be rolled out in some sort of format, whether PowerPoint or whatever, so residents can really get a clear understanding of what's going on as far as the budget here. And also if there's going to be any representation from Aqua there at that particular town hall meeting. So hopefully you can answer that tonight. That's not the end of my question though. Okay, also, with regards to us being outside, I don't want to just beat up on that point because I do understand Trustee Williams saying, and I appreciate her saying that she did say that you guys are going to go outside, but I also addressed that at the last meeting, and that did cause a lot of residents to feel kind of like second-class citizens here, the fact that we had to stand outside, and I believe we stood outside for over an hour. So I believe right now we're being reactive to this situation. Being proactive means you would have discussed that before it first started happening. So I think before those decisions are made, maybe we need to be a little bit proactive and get together and make a decision amongst everybody, come to some sort of consensus of how it's going to be handled, because you're being reactive right now. That's not the way we want to do things. And so if you can answer my first question, I appreciate it, about the town hall.
Town hall meeting will consist of the future of the village, where we are now, and what our plans are for the future.
That's kind of generic. I guess I was trying to find out
Yeah, that's about
any
it.
specifics, so you don't have a clear format yet. Okay, no problem.
That's not what I said.
Okay, so what are you saying? I'm sorry.
I told you that it's going to be stating where we are as a village and where we're moving forward to as a village. So I didn't say that it's not clear on what our
Okay.
agenda is.
Okay, I guess I was looking for a little more specifics, and you're giving me a holistic view. That's fine. Thank
Okay.
you.
Millie Morgan?
Hello, everybody. I'm Mildred Morgan. I must apologize to the residents here for my outburst. Trustee Liz, thank you for your statement, because I don't think it's fair that I pull myself away from my yard or pull myself away from whatever I'm doing, and I haul butt here to attend a meeting because I'm interested in my village, only to have to stand and wait outside. Now, you know, a couple of times that has happened, it was okay. But it seems like it's just a ritual now for us to just get up and march outside, take some chairs, and just sit. It's not fair to us. I like the work that's being done. Some people taking credit for that. I give credit to the board for all of the work that's being done out there on University Parkway. Just have a question about it. What's going on with the lines? Are there going to be any lines, or is that it? There's no lines. So at nighttime when you're driving down University Parkway, gosh, you can't see the streets. There's no lines.
I don't believe that they're finished yet, Ms. Morgan.
Okay, I'm just, you know, usually things are done in a timely manner. Did we pay the bill or something, or didn't pay it, or, you know, I'm just wondering, because usually when you see work has ceased, then that's when, you know, I know that bills are not being paid or whatever. Please, I'm asking you all, it's not hard to just talk into the mic. It is not fair that I'm straining my ears and turning my head and don't want nobody to say nothing or move just so I can hear what you're saying. It is also not fair that you're having your own private meeting among each other. I want to hear what you're saying, Mayor, Trustee. I want to hear what you're saying to him. That's how I kind of get information. I want to hear what you're saying. Transparency. What does that word mean? You know what I'm going to do? I am going to write that down, get to define the word, and I'll give that paper to everybody on the board. Because we need transparency. Obviously, you do not know what transparency means. I keep hearing out in University Park, are we getting a newspaper? Is there other things that's going on?
How come I don't know? I'm Miss Millie. How come I don't know?
Time,
Okay, one more thing. Lights out.
time is up, Ms. Morgan.
Okay,
We have to move to the next person, please.
all right, thank you.
Yeah,
I
Ms.
need
Stroud.
lights,
Thank
I
you.
need lights right there at Regal Farm and Farm
Ms.
View.
Morgan, please.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, all present, all viewing. How's everyone this evening? Great. It's another day that we woke up, so that's a great thing. And the reason I preface by saying that, we have had 2 village residents that recently have passed. Today, the service of Barbara Brown, who was a University Park Senior Citizen Committee member. Last week, we had a service of Mose Cotton. And myself, I only knew Barbara about 10 years plus, whereas Mose, I knew him over 30 years. Often, when a loved one leaves, it does the family a world of good to hear from the community that they devoted themselves to. I know once upon a time, we used to do resolutions for residents of the community. I'm just asking or hoping that we might be able to get back to that, because I know just like my dad was here 37 and a half years, it would have done our family a world of good to have gotten something from the community that he served. So if there's anybody that would like to see any of this information, or if it's needed for anything to be put in the minutes, I'll gladly submit it to whoever may need it. But that's just something, as a 46-year resident, when I'm no longer bothering everybody, I hope my family gets something. Thank you. Everyone continue having a great evening.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown.
Thank
The
you.
last one, John Hassman.
Good evening. My name is John. I'm here on behalf of Speedway. We were looking to modify our gaming license to a combo liquor license. I know at our last meeting we heard some concerns about the restrooms and the lighting at the location. Since that meeting on September 10th, we have installed upgraded commodes with a higher flushing capacity, but unfortunately we do have some existing plumbing issues which our maintenance team is actively working on to get resolved. And we have installed a LED lighting outside earlier this year. We are looking to expand upon that to kind of give the parking lot and the area surrounding better visibility. And then changes to the inside of the store will take place once the gaming room is constructed. We're looking to paint, give a little bit of refresh, and do an overall general cleaning just to freshen up the appearance of the inside of the store.
My partner, speaking of Washington, we ran to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, you left out the beautification of around Speedway as well. It's kind of late in the season, and
No, we are considering more upgrades to the facility. We actually would like a list of some of the things the village would like to see at that site.
now when you mentioned your upgrades, is it both Speedways in University Park or just one?
The ones I mentioned so far were just at the one that we want the gaming at so far, but we are looking at upgrading both sites.
Yeah, that's Governor's. And the one right here on Western, when you gonna touch that one? You know, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but Mayor, I started to take a picture when I came home the other night, Speedway and Creek. Because I mean, just please understand our frustration at University Park. We use Speedway quite a bit, but when we go to Speedway, we want to make sure that we're looking at a Speedway that represents University Park.
No, don't say that.
Yeah, we want a nice speedway. We want our proposed speedway on Governors Highway to look aesthetically clean, just as the one in Street on Main Street.
That's exactly what I meant. Nothing different. Okay?
And competitive pricing.
Okay. All right, good job. That ends our public comment section for tonight. You didn't sign it? Yes. I'm sorry, Cynthia, you missed it this evening. Item 5A1, discussion and ordinance amending Part 8, Title 2, Chapter 804-06 of the Village of University Park Code of Ordinances and Licensing Fees. It's open for discussion.
Yes, man, I was reading this, is little confused. Is this about the square footage?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm looking here, did we get a chance to say, say for instance, this 180 and above, and that, would that be 1,100 per square footage? Is this what we were talking about, Ms. Claudia?
Yes, this is what we were talking about.
And just to elaborate that this has been for a long time that we have been discussing about it, but before I go into details here, let Ms. Claudia, our collector, speak about it.
What this is regarding is anyone that has over 180,000 square feet would pay $1,100.
Okay, and also, so the public would know, is this the same way we had spoke about that sometimes, say, a company that had way over, say, like 180 square feet, they were still paying only $75?
Correct. Every business, general business in the village was paying $75. For example, if the beauty shop on the corner was paying $75, the same thing the Clorox is paying, or Avatar.
Unreal.
Right, so this is what we're going to have on the next agenda, folks, that for years, we had companies as big as Clorox, when they come to get a business license, they were only paying $75.
A 1 million square foot building.
1,000,000 square foot building, so now we're bringing revenue into the building. This is one of the revenues that we'll be working on. So yes, ma'am, I'm in support of that. In fact, I've been asking for this, Ms. Claudia, I know for almost a year and a half since we had the discussion.
Any other questions? And basically what this whole discussion is about is getting our fair share. It's like Mrs. Webb says, we got a 1 million, 2 million square foot building paying $75 for a business license. It's the same as a mom and pop store. It's time that the village starts getting their due diligence. That's pretty much the long and the short of it. Any consensus, guys?
Yes, on the next meeting, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Item 5A2, discussion and ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a long-term lease agreement for the property commonly referred to as Unit 2A, Town Center Drive, University Park, Illinois. And the people who would like to occupy that, it's Next Cuts Barbershop. They are from the barbershop, Richmond Park next to Save-A-Lot. Those are some of the barbers who did the back-to-school free haircuts, and they're ready to come in and occupy space 28 for a full-fledged barbershop and other amenities.
This won't be for you, Mayor. This will be for Attorney Miller, legal hat again. Attorney Miller, can we just take a look? I want to make sure when we look down into the section, I know we have the village, the Illinois compiled statute 65/5/1176-1. Would this wouldn't apply to us because we're home rule, right? I did, if you don't have it, I did print the statute out. Meaning, do we need it in our ordinance?
We generally like to have just the legal authority, but you're right, as a home rule authority, you do have your own separate authority to do things. A lot of times when we do our ordinance, we also include the statutory language just so that someone knows that, that there's a statute covering the leases. But you're correct, as a home rule authority, we could change the language so that it just, the village pursuant to its home rule authority and the Illinois compiled statute has this authority. I'm fine with either, I'm sorry everyone, I know you want to be speaking to the mic. I'm fine with either change, sir.
Okay. do you recommend we go ahead and leave it as is?
I'm fine with leaving it as is, but actually we can, the village pursuant to its home rule authority and the Illinois compiled statutes, that way you're reciting your home rule authority as well.
It's in the first paragraph.
I'm sorry, that would be, sorry, Madam Clerk, that would be on page 2, towards the bottom where it says the village, according to the Illinois compiled statute 65 ILCS 5/11-76-1 and 65 ILCS 5-11-76-2 may approve pursuant to the ordinance the lease of the municipal owned real estate.
And I see exactly where you're talking, Trustee Brooks. I have no problem with saying the village pursuant to its home rule authority and the Illinois compiled statutes.
Yeah, and I see here it says the corporate authorities may authorize the lease of the real estate for the term not to exceed 99 years. But of course, but then also we do have on here on page 3 about the home rule power. So I just wanted to check with that. I yield my time there.
All right, anybody else?
Just one other correction.
Go ahead, Trustee.
A lot of them, zip codes are wrong. That's in paragraph 60148.
That's typo.
It's just typo.
Okay.
Just typo.
60484, not 60184.
608.
60484. Thank you.
Thank you.
That it? Moving forward? Next. Item 583, discussion and ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a long-term lease agreement for the property commonly referred to as Unit 30, Town Center Drive, University Park, Illinois. And for those who don't know, Unit 30 is the old Dimitri, and that intended tenant would be the Sugar Shack, hoagie shop, sandwich shop.
What's the name of it?
Sugar Shack. SUGGA.
Quick question, man. That's not Johnny's though, right?
Yes. That is Johnny's.
Did we not do a lease with a vegan restaurant on that last board?
No,
Or was it?
it was someone else, but they opted out on 30. And the vegan is PK's.
The vegan would be PK's?
Yes.
That's the vegan guy?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Questions, anyone?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mrs. Morgan.
I'm like Trustee Brooks, and that's part of what I was, my comments. We hear that someone is coming there, or something is coming, but then you never hear that it's not coming. We don't know what's coming and going. So I'm like, Trustee Brooks, you didn't know that this, because this is news to me too.
Yes, ma'am. It's news to me. I knew that we had the vegan shop or the vegan restaurant coming. That was about April. So I didn't know what was the holdup. So yes, ma'am. That was one of my questions.
I think that's part of what I'm saying. That if we could just be please told when something is coming, when it's not going to come, if it's been voided, you know, we as residents want to know that.
Okay.
We want to know. That's all.
I guess the question will come in, Mayor. When will these businesses? Can we get a timeline on it? Because let's also let's be realistic too. If I'm not mistaken, we had to build out, right? If I'm not mistaken, or it was minor problems like leaking. Because the Lions even had a problem. It was water damage over in there that was a delay for a couple months. If I'm not mistaken, correct me. The director's not here. But if I'm not mistaken, there was water damage inside the facility, so it was a setback.
Trustee, I think the manager can address that.
Trustee Brooks. Okay. This has happened
the transition has happened. When you come to lease arrangements, when people come in and they say they've been looking and they say this, oh, this will be perfect. What do I have to do to go through the process? It's been slightly over 2 weeks that this process has been vetted in order to put forth this to the board. Now, there were some issues structurally that we had to deal with, but all you have to do, if you know what the problems are, get them done. It's almost completed. It's the roof, major. So, of course, we had the roofer come out because we wanted the building department, the code enforcer, to make sure when they go through, before the lessees sign these contracts, that just like anybody else, it actually goes through and passes. Regardless of if it's the village or not, we as a leaseor got to make sure everything is there. So they went in and they told us the problem. We got the guys, the roofer out, they're repairing the roof. They're almost done to the satisfaction of code specifications. But this guy was so enthused about getting it, we went forward to move forward, and they are making clear and doing all their permitting, issuing us all their license, their food service delivery license. We want to make sure everything in place before we get there. And this is how we did. Now we're to the point that we're ready to go through your vet process to make sure that we can get it approved. But these kinds of things, and the mayor hasn't mentioned it, it's going to be coming out in these newsletters that everybody in the community is going to get in a minute.
All right. So there is a newsletter?
Yes, it's been published. It's going to be published. Sorry, Mayor, I didn't want to say this, but is it okay if I move forward?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. It's for the people.
Okay. Listen, you're going to give a newsletter once a quarter, and it's going to have basically everything in that newsletter, and it's also going to have a section in the newsletter that's called like Happy Times, that people can send in and say, I want our anniversary. Your sweetheart may say, I want our anniversary recognized, so they can publicly. Everybody in town will know it's your anniversary. Or somebody comes and says that we're going to get married and we want the entire community to come. Whatever the case may be, you as a citizen will have an opportunity to publish it. This is what the mayor is looking to incorporate in that. But this is the first of the series of them coming out every quarter. And this is just for first time on look. And it'll be out in a few days. It's simply wonderful. So I think it'll be an opportunity for this community to begin to learn actually what's in it. And if you all want something else in it, and it's within the space allocation and the size, that's when you get an opportunity to go in to see the mayor.
All right.
It's premature to ask, what is the cost of this?
It's free to you.
It's premature?
It's free. You're going to get the newsletter free. No. You're not going to have to pay now. The only thing you may have to pay for, and they've not determined, is a nominal fee for small postings there. Okay. Like $5, $10, if it's a big page or whatever, it's differential. But the next...
Somebody's paying for it.
Yes. When I say free, I'm not saying you personally have to pay for it. Nothing in the world is free, not even water and air now. So when I say free, I meant having to come out of your pocket per se. But you will not have to pay for the letters coming out of the village budget per se.
All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Fulgham. Let's back to the agenda. Is everybody good with the shot?
Yes, Mary, I'm agree with going on the next agenda.
Everybody's good. All right. Thank you. We're moving on to the next one. Item 5A4, discussion of ordinance amending Part 8, Title 2, Chapter 808 and 807-07 of the Village of University Park Code of Ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, I noticed this is only referring to Class B liquor license, which is your lounges, where you want to increase this from 3 to 5. I thought we had, there had been some discussion also about adding additional license for video gaming, taking that from 3 to 5.
3 to 5. It should be that way, yes. Is that a B license as well?
No, that's a, what is it, G or H?
That's a G license, but G. So those are the discussion items to add 2 additional licenses in each categories in anticipation of expanding our video gaming. Questions?
Where are we expanding and who's getting a license?
We just period, just expanding. So when there's an opportunity for a new vendor to come in, it doesn't have to go through the process again. They won't be utilized unless it's approved by the board. And Speedway would be one example.
Okay, I'll just give you my opinion and I'm gonna shut up. With Speedway being one of them, when I see the results, then I'll vote on it. Other than that, I yield my time.
Okey doke. Anybody else? All right, move forward. All right, that's it from the floor, Mrs. Moore.
How come
Yes.
this is the COW,
Yes.
COW, isn't it?
Yes,
We're supposed to
but
be able to ask
there's a public comment section also with anything that needs to be addressed.
I'm aware of that, but also it's been
Miss-
established, it's been established that with the COW, that we can ask questions. That's how you get a better understanding. Now, you're talking about getting some license, and that's just for general sake?
Anticipation. But Mrs. Morgan, when you have these questions, we would greatly appreciate if you do it during the public comment section, because I'm not going to field questions from the audience randomly. It's not fair to anybody. Item 5A5. Tough discussion.
Yeah, Mayor, are we, for the dispensary and the zoning, I think probably it would be, in my opinion, if, like, that company that was out towards Monique, and if it's out towards that direction,
That's the, yeah.
I would not have, I have not talked to my constituents on that, but I feel if it's somewhere like in the middle of town, they may have a problem. But if it's out in that area, I feel it shouldn't be a problem because it's really out towards Monique.
It's
somewhere else.
It's in our industrial park.
It's in our, right.
And if I'm not mistaken, in 2015, somewhere in that area, when the initial pilot program initiated, the village, 2014, we actually passed an ordinance respectively for medical use, and that was zoned for just the industrial park, non-residential. And we would be happy to amend everything to state the same thing for the adult use, which will be starting January 1st. And we need to pass ordinances and things to get to Springfield to let other vendors know that there's an opportunity to bring in revenue in University Park.
Right, so yeah.
So it's all
Industrial.
Yeah.
And at minimum, I feel that if I would say it's not near our kids, they would not have any interaction with anybody. It is nothing negative. If anything, it's out towards industrial park. It's not in the heart of our town.
I also agree with Trustee Brooks.
Okay. Mr. Sevier?
Yeah, excuse me, has the village passed the option in or out ordinance?
We're in the process. You hear me?
So you're in the process of passing it?
Yeah, that's not one of our discussions now, yes, to opt in or opt out. Well, has the village decided to opt in? That was the question.
Mayor, what was the last, just to, so that that people will understand the revenue that would come in, did we have a projection? I mean, I know that we had talked to one person, but did we get any projection of how much? I have an idea, but I prefer you to say it, of how much money would come in that we, let's mind everybody, the objection, you know, the people need to understand that Amherst needs to be repaired. Olmsted needs to be repaired. We have parks that definitely need some upkeep. We have a pool that is one of the things that we need to handle right now that needs to be repaired. And the problem come in is the money. We just, if people doesn't understand, I'll go ahead and tell you right now, we generate about 7 to 8 million right now. See, I look back at Xavier. About 7 to 8 million going out. To be honest, it takes about that much to run this village right now. The way we want to run the village, I would say, would be close to
12, 15.
Yeah, we are not a small town compared to a Dixmoor or a Phoenix. University Park, we do operate, we have 2 fire stations. We have we had a full staff police department. So go ahead, Mayor, and I mean the things that are sitting on our plate that we need to spend this money right now desperately.
I mean, the governor has made a way for municipalities to raise revenue without putting tax in the back on the residents, which is really something that we should take advantage of. It gives the opportunity to have jobs close to home. And it's the way of the future. It's a new profession. It's going to be a new college course. So here's an opportunity for us not to put the burden, again, back on the taxpayers, to get these boarded homes back on the tax rolls, to get our legal farm, our fields, everything going back the way we need it without the taxpayers. This is the wave of the future. And here's a great opportunity for this administration to be a revenue-generating administration. So now we have the opportunity to be the head and not the tail. And I think that we should all aggressively move forward in making sure that we have the responsible adult use of cannabis in University Park, in our industrial park, and with our attorneys and our board of trustees. That main goal is to ensure that the safety and well-being of our residents and our kids. And that's a point well taken. So, yeah, and as we've gone to many seminars down the line, as trustees might say down the line, we better get in now or we'll be left out again, and we'll be talking about what if. So now is not the time to what if, now is the time to aggressively move forward and let the vendors out there know that University Park plans on opting in, wants to opt in with the responsible use of adult cannabis. It's a touchy subject, but it has to be talked about because this can change the direction of this village in 2 years easily. Trustee?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I had an opportunity to visit, I had the opportunity to visit the different vendors about the cannabis controversy. And matter of fact, the last meeting we had, we don't want to be left out. We want to be able to lift the burden of the taxes in this village, and we want to be able to lift the burden of the tax burden on the residents of University Park. So we are considering a adult cannabis facility in University Park's industrial park. So I just think it would be fiscally sound for us to really consider it, because that is something that will not be brought to the village itself, but it will be housed in the industrial park, away from all the small young people, but will give us an opportunity to explore this at great length, and we can talk about it during the town hall meeting. And I'm telling you, it's coming. Anything that's going to relieve our burden on us, I think it would be greatly appreciated. And we will host everybody's comments Saturday in reference to it, because when the governor passed the situation and they passed it for January, it's a hot topic, and we don't want to be left in the dust. We really don't.
Mr. Sevier?
Just keep in mind that the opt-out ordinance has a deadline date.
Thank you. Coming up very soon.
What did you say, sir?
The opt-out has a deadline. Both of them have deadlines approaching us very fastly. So we can't be a government of procrastination. We must aggressively move forward so we are not, again, left out or behind.
So it would.
Would this wouldn't go before the planning committee or anything, or would we just set out an ordinance?
It probably would.
Okay, so we'll go to the planning committee, they would handle that and then come before us?
Yes.
Okay, and because I see here, cannabis cultivation, dispensaries and zoning, and yeah, just in my final comment is the majority of what we're waiting on when people ask about streets and when we apply for grants, we're asked for matching grants. For example, we were asked to meet $250,000 for one, or we asked to pay 10% on another one, 20%, yes. And so we want the residents to understand that we have scaled back to the bare bone in this village, and now we're constantly growing and growing and growing, and that's the positive sign. And like I said, I'm happy when TIF 21, or excuse me, when TIF 5 expires in 2021, so that we have some revenue coming in. But Mayor, I do agree with this. You know, I hate it when we have to wait for money, because that's what it seems like we're doing. But we didn't cause this, but we are bouncing back. So I'm for it, and like I said, once again, it's not, the zoning area is more out towards Monique. It's not towards the middle of town. So that controversy, no one should really start it, because that, if someone says it's coming here in town, they're telling a lie. So for the record, make sure we put that, Madam Clerk, in the minutes.
I agree.
All right, thank you. Is there anything else? Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Brooks to adjourn, second by Trustee Williams. Roll call. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.